Hey, Carl, I need to get an order placed. I'm not... What are you doing? Dude, you're at work. Anyway, we need some stuff. I'm running low on glue, sandpaper, brad nails. Are you writing this down, Carl? Pocket hole screws. And Andy mentioned that we need masks and eye protection. So if you could please get that on order today, that would be great. You can act like you're ignoring me, but I know you're listening, Carl. Okay, get this order done, and then you're welcome to get back to whatever it is you're doing over there. But for me, I'm getting back in the shop. I've got actual work to do, Carl. Today on New Craft Workshop, we're showing you not one more, but two more planter box builds. The one on the left, 26 inches tall, and we're going to teach you how to do compound miter cuts. The one on the right, way out of our comfort zone, black paint, extremely modern. Stick around, this one's going to be a little different. Let's get to these builds. So the first thing we're going to do today is set our miter saw to 5 degrees. All of our miters and bevels are going to be done at 5 degrees. Let's get this first project started. We're going to want the top of our planter to have an opening of 16 by 16. So we're going to cut down 4 pieces with a miter cut at 5 degrees, the long side being 16 inches. Then we're going to take the short side of those particular boards, mark our next boards. That will become the long side of our next cut. We will repeat that through 4 more levels. Hopefully you guys can figure that out. I know it's a lot of math. I'm good at math, but damn, I don't want to sit there and try to figure all that out.
Yikes.
Right here, we have tipped our table saw blade over to 5 degrees. We're going to take off just the very edge of these top boards only. This is going to give us a really nice flat surface at the top of this planter to mount our top 2. Time to get these things together. So we're simply using butt joints here. We're going to put together the groups of 4 to make each level of this planter. We're going to do like we normally do with our planters. We're going to use wood glue, Titebond 3, waterproof, always, Titebond 3 outside, and brad nails. Get this thing started. Next step is going to be our trim pieces down the side. I'm going to cut my stock to length first, then rip it. My small little contractor saw, it's easier for me to rip shorter pieces than it is long, especially with my limited space. So I am at 27 and a half. I'm going to cut them at 29 and a half. I want to give myself a little bit of room. We're going to do a 2-inch reveal on both sides of this. So we want one of our boards for each leg ripped to 2 inches, the other one ripped to 1 3/8 inches. We're going to assemble them first, then we're going to cut our miter and bevel on the bottom, put the legs up against the box, mark the top so we get a nice accurate cut. Let's get to it. We're cutting these trim pieces down to length and then heading over to the table saw where we're going to rip them into 2 sizes.
2 inches for one side and 1 3/8 inches for the other.
So our sides are cut, and for those of you guys who are new to woodworking or might not understand why we cut our two side pieces at different lengths, it's because when these two boards go together, it gives you a 2-inch reveal from the 2-inch board and a 2-inch reveal by putting the 1 3/8 plus the thickness of the other board together. We want a nice consistent reveal all the way around. So what we're going to do now, wood glue, brad nails, we're going to get these legs together. Then we're going to head over to the miter saw and I'll show you guys a bevel cut. So let's get it going. Yeah, I was shooting blanks there towards the end. I'm sure you guys saw that, even though it was sped up. No guy ever wants to admit he's shooting blanks. So we're going to head over to the miter saw. We're going to get these things mitered and cut on a bevel. We're going to do 5 degrees and 5 degrees. Let's head over there and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Right here, we're moving our saw 5 degrees to the right on the miter side, and we're moving it 5 degrees to the right on the bevel side.
Now let's get these legs marked for length. We're going to push them tight to the ground, tight up against the box, mark our insides. Repeat this for all 4 legs. We're going to head back over to the miter saw, cut this top miter and bevel, and then we can get this box assembled.
I'm showing this in slow motion because, well, for some reason I didn't film all 4 cuts of these legs. Notice we're cutting on the right side of the saw blade. That's where you need to be to get these compound miter cuts correct.
All right, we're getting there. So let's get this thing flipped over. We want to work from the top down, makes it a whole lot easier. We're going to glue and brad trim in place, add a level, tack it, add a level, tack it. Once we're all the way up, we're going to spin this thing and install the other 3 trims. So let's get to it. Two more quick steps and we're done. Right here at the bottom of this board on either side, I'm going to place a runner. It's going to allow me to drop some boards down here. That way we can just set a plant in here that's in a pot. That's how I designed this box. I really hope my wife does not want to fill this thing up with dirt, because then I'm going to have to build a bottom on this and we're going to have to line it. So we're going to put a pot in here, hopefully. Since we took the time to bevel the boards here on the top, we have a perfectly flat surface, which means building our top is going to be extremely easy. Get our measurements, cut to length, 45s at the miter saw, assembly on the table, glue and tack it down, and this thing's done. Let's wrap this up.
What we're doing right now is we're cutting our top pieces down to length. Then we're going to add our 45-degree miters and then head back to the workbench where we're going to assemble our top like we normally do with CA glue and activator. We're going to go back to the box, put some wood glue down, tack this thing in place, and finally we're going to put a couple of stretchers down at 11 inches right at the bottom of the second picket. That's going to allow us to put a couple boards there, set a pot on instead of filling this thing up completely with dirt. It's way too big for that.
This one's done. It's big.
It's beautiful.
It's nice. It's going to look great in the yard. I'm going to run my sander over this very, very lightly. I just want to take some of these frays and splinters off. I got a little bit of glue running right here. I can see out of the corner of my eye. Then we're going to get on to planter number 2. All right, on to build number 2. So for this build, we are going to build a perfect cube, 16 by 16 by 16. We're going to start by heading over to the miter saw, and we're going to cut 9 pieces down to 14 3/4, and then we're going to cut 6 pieces down to 16 inches long. So let's head over there and get that started.
So let's start by getting these things cut to length. I always like to take the end of each board off. Number one, it pulls the end where the staples are, and then number two, it gives you a nice square cut. And then we're going to move on to cut our 9 pieces to length. And as you can see, I tried to make 9 and my saw only got through 7. Close though.
All of these cuts are done. Time to get these boxes together. So what we're going to do is we're going to make 3 boxes. Stack these 3 boxes on top of each other, and then we're going to build a frame around it. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. Simple butt joints. We're going to build 3 boxes exactly like this. Our box on the bottom, getting 2 of these extra pieces. We're going to tack these on the edges. We're not worried about anything in the middle. I'm designing this box like I did the other one. We're going to put a pot in here and not soil. If you do want to fill this up with soil, you're going to have to rip down another picket and insert it in here. So let's get this assembly going. All right, our 3 boxes are built. This is how they're going to stack once this is all assembled. All I need to do is measure one side of this box as well as the height. Then we're going to head over to the miter saw, and we're going to cut 2 pieces of 2x4 to each length. After that, we're going to head to the table saw, rip them to width. So let's get after this part of this.
Once we get our measurements taken, let's head over to the miter saw, get our 2x4s cut to length. We're going to head over to the table saw, and we're going to rip these down to 1.5 inches. I would like these to be square, and since a 2x4 comes 1.5 inches thick, 1.5 inch rip is going to get us there. After we're done with that, we're going to head over to the sander, and we're going to round over the 3 exposed edges so that this looks a little more continuous all the way around.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to assemble 3 pieces of the 4 that wrap around this box. So basically what we're going to do is on either side of this box, we're going to wrap this frame around like so. It's going to go around all 4 sides. The bottom piece will allow this box to be up off the ground 1.5 inches. Going to help with water, but first things first, let's assemble 3 of these pieces. We're going to use glue and drive a screw into each end of this. I know wood glue on ingrained is not super beneficial, but we're going to go ahead and slap some on there anyway. Let's get these 2 frames put together, and then we'll take them outside and get things spray painted. Back from paint, I've slipped these pieces down over the box. We're going to drive a couple screws through each picket into this frame from the inside. Once we've got that nice and stabilized, we're going to flip this thing over, install our bottom pieces, and this one's done as well. So let's get to it. That's it. Not sure exactly what I think because it's not necessarily my style, but please, you go down in the comments and let me know what you think, because this might be what one of you out there watching this video wants to build. I wanted to step out of my comfort zone, try something a little bit different. We've got some other stuff planned. I promise I'm not going to build cedar, picket, planter boxes all summer long, but it is the season. I am not sure exactly what's going on, but everybody wants to build one. Everybody wants to watch you build one. Everyone wants to buy one. So we're doing planters right now. I am currently working on a router table, going to be very similar to my shop cart that I built for my planer. It's going to hold my Rockler router table and insert. It's going to be a really nice build. I'll share that with you soon. Got a furniture flip headed your way as well. All you guys that have subscribed already, thank you so much. I had no idea that we could get to 500 subscribers as fast as we did. The channel has been well received, and it's because of you guys, and we really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting on? Get down there, go ahead and click it, turn on those notifications. Doesn't cost you a penny. Could help you learn to build something along the way. So as always, we appreciate your time. Thank you for spending a little bit of it with us here on our channel, and we'll see you on YouTube.